everybody wants to get united. Like, what we gotta do is meet everybody on 149th Street at the bench.
So there's a famous saying in graffiti that goes something along the lines of graffiti artists are killing graffiti. You guys might know this saying from an actual documentary, but people have been saying this since long before that documentary ever came out. Now, as a kid when I was younger and I just started doing graffiti, I really kind of thought about that and I was like, why do people say this? I somehow don't see it. Now keep in mind, when I say graffiti artists are killing graffiti, I don't think that they're actually going to destroy all of graffiti. You realize that graffiti artists are the reason for all of their own problems. And obviously, not all wait, hold up, this company isn't paying me. Get this off the water bottle. I'm not strong enough for that. And I believe it's like once you take that step back and you observe the bigger picture of everything, you see the massive amount of not only hypocrisy but ignorance that plagues graffiti. The amount of crazy misinformation about graffiti in itself is enough to really warrant that statement, not even including everything else. And while on one hand some of the most chill and dope people I've ever met in my life were graffiti artists, I have to say the exact opposite is true as well. And it's crazy, man. It's truly wild when you stop and consider like how many of those people are truly out there. And I think this is exactly why you find a lot of writers, a lot of graffiti artists, the older ones especially, kind of just stray away from other people. I've seen this countless times, growing up around a bunch of graffiti artists, and then I've seen it in myself, where, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to kind of meet other new graffiti artists. I mean, it was kind of also part of my job because I worked at the shop, so I met graffiti artists literally from all over the world. And I've spoken to tens of thousands of graffiti artists over the course of my entire graffiti career. As a kid, I was like, well, I mean, why don't you want to mingle? Why don't you want to, you know, kind of hook up with these guys or whatever the case was? And always it was the same answer. I'd rather just not deal with the drama. Now in my own graffiti career, as time passed, I kind of moved away from whatever beefs I had, grew as a person, so on and so forth, and became more mature, didn't really care about like little insignificant things that used to upset me in graffiti. Then I no longer really cared. So whenever I would interact with another graffiti artist, immediately kind of drama would swell up. Like they would literally try to get me in on the idea of making a fake beef, and I was just like, nah man, I'm good. I don't need any of that. I don't even care to have real beef. Like, what is that really doing for me? So I found that with all that, I too began to separate myself from other graffiti artists. And now when I interact with other graffiti artists, it's more of like, oh, just two people meeting and we're kind of talking on a more human level. And we just so happen to both be graffiti artists. And the other side of it is I interact with them as like, all right, I'm teaching you because I do a lot of teaching, which also might be starting up classes soon. Add on top of all of that, you got people's egos to deal with, which let's be honest, graffiti artists have some fragile egos. Like, it's kind of crazy how fragile their egos are. And everyone's trying to posture in order to maintain that kind of like dominance hierarchy, and it's ridiculous. Like, you really do get to a certain point, whether it's age or maturity or whatever the case is, I don't know, but you get to a certain point where you just don't care about any of that. Like, none of that matters. All of that measuring up to one another doesn't matter. But on the flip side, this is also kind of the nature of graffiti, because the whole name of the game is getting your name up, getting your notoriety higher, getting your name in front of more people. It's all about you. It's a very egocentric lifestyle and art form. So of course ego is going to be a huge factor in graffiti. That's no surprise. But the fact that it is at the very core of what graffiti is, I think that right there is really the double-sided sword. Because not only is that responsible for giving us what we love about graffiti, it's also responsible for all of the negative things about graffiti. But that's just my take on the topic, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's start a little bit of a discussion here. And if you're new here, you want to learn more about graffiti, check out the best how to do graffiti tutorials anywhere online. This playlist right here, it'll help you out a bunch. And check out this one if you just want more graffiti content. Last thing real quick, once again, I might be doing classes soon. I'm pretty excited about it, but it's a little bit of a struggle in order to get set up. Once I get it set up, I'll let you guys know. But that's a wrap. You guys enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys back here next week. Thanks for watching.